Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Cleburne, and welcome back to just about the last project that we have down here, which is the deck that you see behind me. So I'm going to give you a brief history about this deck, and I'm going to try not to come across as too gritchy about it. However, a couple of years ago, we let the kids stay down here. They wanted to put up a cabin and they wanted to stay here and play, and they played for about one season. And the son-in-law tore down somebody's deck from the city and brought down a massive pile of decking boards and wood, big heavy boards and all this wood, unloaded it down here, and then he threw a deck together for them in one day. And although he attached it to their cabin, he never went underneath and braced it or anything like that. And also they didn't treat the wood with anything. This gray wood over here, they didn't treat that wood with anything. So it grayed out really quickly. So there was that. So when they left, when they took their cabin and got their own place and moved their cabin, they left this deck and that massive wood pile behind for us. So this deck was never anything I wanted. And although he worked very hard on it, it did look like it was sagging, it was graying out, it looked a little unsafe, and it never had any steps going up to it or anything like that. It was just a place to get up out of the grass. And it was heavy. A deck is very heavy. So it wasn't anything that me and my husband could just pick up and move. We couldn't drag it off with our little tractor, or we couldn't move it. We would have had to hire somebody to move the deck away from, to somewhere safe and then set fire to it or disassemble it. We'd have had to hire somebody to do that. So we decided that when we got a rental cabin down here that we would use the deck. But it didn't match up to the cabin that we moved in, and it wasn't braced, like I said, and it was grayed out, and it's not good. So then I hired somebody to redo the deck and make it right. And then me and that builder, we were coming at it from different perspectives. He wanted to do things his way, and I wanted things my way. He wanted, spindles all the way around, and I said, no, I want planters. When he does one step that he did do, he didn't use any wood that matched, and so it looked so ridiculous. It was terrible. And then he used a wood plank as trim, and I had him remove that. It was not good. And he and I we worked on one project together, and then I was done. So the deck has been a source of contention for me and my husband ever since the day it landed here. But now it's up to us to turn it into something that is easy on the eyes and something that's useful and something that's especially safe for our guests down here. So as you can see, it's gray on one side and then tan on the other. I still need to build a step. It doesn't have any trim work, and that railing back there doesn't match. So I have some work to do on this deck to make it nice again. So first things first, I'm gonna light some Palo Santos, and I'm gonna say some prayers over this deck, and I'm gonna come at this project with good energy. Oh, I love the smell of Palo Santos. So with the blessing from this beautiful Palo Santos holy wood, I'm gonna ask that this sacred smoke clarify any and all negative energies from the past, and that from now on in the future, that this area, especially this deck, will be a place of happiness and joy and wonderful conversations between family and friends. And may the spirit of the trees, from the trees where the wood originally came from, will always bless and protect this deck. Okay, so here's an overall before. We still have so much wood to get out of here, and it's really heavy, but we have a trailer, and I've been just loading what I can when I can. Some of it's going to stay here and be used as baseboard just to get rid of it. A lot of it I had that guy use to make that planter right there. His wonky step. Okay, and then We thought we could use some lattice on this side. You can see how grayed out the wood is now. You can buy something called oxalic acid, OXALIC, I believe. That's supposed to help bleach out grayed wood. However, I'm already over budget on this. I have no idea how much that costs, nor do I really want to wait on it. I need to knock this deck out so we can start working on the inside. So I'm going to use 2.5 gallons of rainwater, half a cup of hydrogen peroxide, and half a cup of baking soda, and a little elbow grease, and see what we can do with this deck. First things first, I'm going to sweep it. Well, I'm going to move everything off of here, and then I'm going to sweep it clean. Oh, also I want to say I'm not using any soap on this deck because my fear is that soap will leave a soapy film and that the stain that I apply won't adhere as well. I don't know. I've never tried this before, so that's just my theory. So one thing I will say about doing this is you have to change your water quite often, and it's smelly because it's all that algae coming up. And the water gets dirty pretty quick, but you can already see the difference. So just change your water often and just be determined you're gonna finish it, and it can be done. Looking better already. All right, that is going over only one time. I think you can clearly see the difference. I like this better than power washing. I've always found that power washing, if done incorrectly, if it's too close or it's too much pressure, it leaves like a fuzziness to your wood, causes your wood to come up. You don't want to use any kind of bleach on your wood because that can actually get into the wood fibers and damage the wood fibers. So I think this is really beautiful, actually. So I'm excited to go over this one more time. We still have a few over there, and then, we'll do the whole deck. But it's really not that difficult. It doesn't take a lot of harsh scrubbing. Just let your tools do the work, basically. And I will warn you, though, it is smelly because when you get all that algae up off of there, it's really smelly in your mop water. All right, that part of the job is done. It's been raining for 2 days, so that's a good thing, though, because that rain will certainly rinse off any kind of residue that was left over from the cleaning solution of peroxide and baking soda. Went ahead and decided to also scrub the interior of the planter. I don't really have the funds this year to paint the planter, but we're just going to stain the interior so that it matches the rest of the deck. You definitely want to add some stain, though. Transparent stains will still let the natural grain of the wood show through, but the pigments in the stains, of course, helps repel the sun's damaging UV rays so that your wood it'll prevent your wood from graying out so quickly, and will just prolong the life of the wood. So until then, it's going to be a while for this to dry up before I can stain it. It's still raining. It's been raining for 2 days. I think I'm going to try to add some color to this deck. I've got some furniture that's going to go up here, and it's some very basic colors. So I do want to splash a color down here. And I've been looking for a lizard. I was going to put a lizard here. Actually, I have a turtle already, and I'm looking at the back of this turtle, and I'm thinking, you know what, I can do something with this turtle and make it look really cute out here and make it feel like it fits in with the whole overall theme of the cabin. I don't like the crack between the planter and the deck, so I'm going to see if I have anything. I'm over budget, so I can't really go out and buy any quarter round like I'd like, maybe next season, but I'm going to stain it, and then I'm going to see if I can find something as trim, and then I think we're just going to use leftover lattice for trim on this side. And until it dries up, I think I'm gonna go indoors and see if I can work on some kind of something to put out here to add a splash of color. All right, time for us to add that pop of color. So I had in mind, like I was saying earlier, that I was going to add a colorful lizard to that planter box, but I looked for one and it didn't present itself. So I'm just somebody who's going to trust the universe and say, hey, maybe I wasn't meant to have a lizard. maybe I should just go home and look around. And I did have something that would be equally as pretty if we just add a little bit of color to it. I love that design. I've had this turtle statue for many, many years, and it just gets moved around. So let's paint the back of this turtle to closely resemble the little bistro set with those colors. I think that'll look really good. And I think we'll just let the universe have its way on this one, and we'll switch from a lizard to a turtle. Should be fine. Those were our colors. A lot of white, yellow, blue, and green. White, yellow, blue, and green. Close enough. Now I'm working on the trim because to me, trim is very important and it just makes things look finished. I found some old trim up at our property and I painted it with the same color floor paint as what's going to be inside. So we're going to use that this year. So when it comes to the list of things I least like to do, I'd have to say that painting spindles and railings is one of those. I just find it tedious. If you wanted your paint to really adhere, you'd have to sand all this old paint off. So it's a lot of maintenance and a lot of tedious work to me. Other people may really enjoy painting. So the first chance I get, I want to replace these wooden, this wooden thing, spindles, I guess they're called, with metal, with black metal that will match the other side of my porch. But this year, it's all I have, so we're gonna make the best of it. Okay, next I'm gonna deal with this planter. It goes along 3 edges of this deck, and the local hardware store did donate some plants today, so I got a whole flat from them of various plants. I'm gonna put those in there. I do have some herbs that are sprouting, so I'm gonna try and be very careful and not disturb the herbs that I already have, as well as these citronella plants. So let's put those plants in the planter. And we have another rain delay. So since it is raining, I'm gonna go ahead and go back inside and I'm gonna work on sealing these little Zen rake tools and the little box that I stained with this polyacrylic. I was reading online where this is really excellent for Zen rakes because it dries clear, it's water-based, and it will help prevent yellowing over time. And also will repel any kind of oils from your hands. So that's good. All right, the sun is setting on this beautiful May day. We got a robin singing a beautiful song, and the deck is done. This is one that took a lot of perseverance. I'll just give you a quick tour. So I want to thank Ace Hardware for donating the plants and the flowers that you see. I want to thank my childhood friend, whose initials are MV, for donating the Weber grill. She also does Airbnbs, and she's been a true inspiration. The wood is gone. That's the last of the wood. I'm so happy. Put down some gravel so that once it rains a few times and it settles, it'll be really nice. And even the wonky step looks better. We're still wiping our feet because everything's new. There's some things I'd like to change. Like I'd like this to be black metal next year, but it is what it is. I love the rain barrel and the beautiful gutter my husband helped install. A beautiful feng shui money tree that brings abundance and luck and joy. And I went ahead and did the trim over there. Next year, I'd love to swap out and do trim all the way around. I'd love black metal. I think that'd be gorgeous up here. I like the way the little turtle came out. I also want to thank my friend Zany Mae from Spring Meadows Farm and Garden. She gives me words of encouragement, and she's also very inspirational every single day. The little Zen box. I had a lot of fun with this last night. I kept playing with it. It's really a lot of fun. It's very neat. This cabin will have a library, and one of the books in the library is how to make your own Zen garden. So that's it. I loved coming out this morning after a rain and seeing the rainwater pooling on top of the wood instead of knowing that it was soaking into the wood. I even like the way the dark gray came out. All right, guys, hopefully we'll get started on the inside, and we're going to move on to the next project, and you'll join me there. If you haven't, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and like and share. Many blessings.